Let us take a moment to sigh out all our doubt, our self-destruct tendencies, our anger, and depleting behavior. Out of the throat chakra. Out of the heart. Out of the crown chakra. Out of the navel, the root, the solar plexus chakras. Out of the total energy field. We are bright, we are expansive, we are clean, we are clear, we are bright, we are expansive, we are clean and clear. Tidiness in our environment, tidiness in our energy, tidiness in our thinking, tidiness in our heart is our simplistic vitality. Vitality, liveliness, depth, progression, enthusiasm. Now, for this discussion, I'm going to talk about attracting the higher life partner. And the steps towards attracting the higher life partner. The first thing we got to do, and this is pretty brazen, we got to move beyond or move out of our issues. Now, there are many tools out there, many tools, such as Kundalini Yoga, meditation, transcendental meditation, energy work, self-Reiki, self-hypnosis, journaling. There are many tools, resources out there. And if we are not finding a resource that works for us, it could be because we have a deep-rooted subconscious fear of letting that thing go. Because when there is a deep-rooted fear within our subconscious around a trauma, around a issue, a dilemma, I like to say a dilemma, an issue, or a low vibrating pattern within our being, we can block ourselves from receiving the resource we need to have a breakthrough. So there are breakthroughs, opportunities for breakthroughs all around us. We simply need to get our subconscious on board with change. So how we do that, so that we can begin to receive the resources, because they're all around. It's just we're blocking ourselves, and therefore we don't see them. We don't see the opportunities because we're very blocked in our ability to change, okay? So getting into that subconscious block that prevents us from receiving resources to basically clear away the issue so we can get to what we really came here to do, which is not to live out our parents' cold depression, our grandparents' cold depression. We're not here to play out the cold depression of society, to play out the dilemma, the issue, the low vibrating patterns of society. That is not our higher destiny. Our higher destiny is to be creative. Now, creation and destruction come in hand. We need to destroy certain things within our being to be able to create space to receive the creation of our being. And that's what we're doing through the Kundalini yoga, meditation, self-Reiki, self-hypnosis, is we're destroying those dilemma, issue, low vibrating patterns inside of us so that we can create space to create. So that's when we get into the destruction and the creation are a hand-in-hand team. Hand-in-hand team. Now, we must get into environments, because environments pretty much reflect what's going on internally. So we need to get into environments of change first, because when we're in environments of change, even though our subconscious may be a little bit uncomfortable, because our subconscious has this deep-rooted fear of letting that thing go, whatever that is, out of the body, out of the tissues, out of the thought wave. So getting in environments of change, such as environments that are youthful, that give a sense of energy, a vitality, and getting out of environments that speak of stagnation, that speak of cold depression, that speak of numbness, of distraction. So getting out of those kinds of environments and getting into environments that are very energetic, like children, very youthful activities, such as it could be group hiking, or it could be group kayaking, or going to the beach, or going to a children's soccer game, or going to a recreational activity like basketball or soccer or volleyball or something. Activities that get you in a state of vitality, get you in a state of movement, in a state of energetic expression. Those environments can create the space you need to have that subconscious is getting on board with you wanting change. Okay? Because we all say we want change, but the very fact it's not happening is because we have this subconscious fear of letting it go. Whatever that issue is, whatever that dilemma is, whatever that low vibrating pattern is, we can't let it go. And until we let it go, we're always going to be in this self-destruct or this self-sabotage when it comes to attracting a higher mate. Okay, a higher life partner, because what will happen is we'll be presented with tests, we'll be presented with people, and we won't have a higher sense of self-worth to say no, because we have these issues, these dilemmas, these low vibrating patterns that are very much don't have discernment, don't have boundaries, don't have this yes, no. So basically anything comes to us and we just kind of allow anything, any partner. And then what that does is it just, for a lot of people, it creates more of the same issue. It just amplifies the same existing issue that's already inside of you. So that's when we get into people attracting the same partner again and again. And these people begin to collect all of these relationships and collect all of these fears. But the thing is, it's not all of these fears are all just different. Usually there's a root to it, and that root always, before we even get into a relationship, that root always has to do with the dilemma, issue, or low vibrating pattern that we have in our system even before we started getting into dating or relationships. It can come from childhood, it can come from past life, it can come from an environment in your childhood, a caretaker. Overall, that kind of sets the caliber in which what we will experience in life. And for most of us as children, we are born into earth, a family, not everyone, but a family where maybe the bar was really low, or the bar was very limiting. You either do X, Y, or Z, or the bar for relationship experience was really limiting. Okay, it was like a low caliber. So that becomes our low vibrating pattern our dilemma, our issue, because a lot of relationships are basically we haven't moved past our issues, our dilemmas, our low vibrating patterns, so our relationship just becomes, we haven't broke through yet. So therefore, the relationship doesn't have any artistic expression or jazz. It's pretty much just the primal survival, because the issue, the dilemma, the low vibrating patterns are basically towards our fears of survival. So until we can get clear of this survival, which can be very much about needing to have this ego identity, this ego security, that isn't based on authenticity rather than what we see around us, which is the pretending, the facades, and the presenting like a show, or presenting ourselves as not who we truly are, kind of like wearing a mask. So that becomes like our survival is just to be wearing a mask. Now, a higher relationship is moving beyond that. It is moving leaps and bounds beyond that. It is not simply we're here to just survive, or to make paying the bills easier, or just to come together just because we have to procreate and we are a good match for procreating. No, that is our lower partnership. Okay, it's based on survival. But the thing is, when we carry these dilemmas, these issues, these low vibrating patterns, it creates a limitation in our capability. So what that does is, since we don't have a higher capability, what we think we can do in life, we just kind of settle. And a lot of times that settling is just survival, that primal survival, because we know how to do that. But that doesn't necessarily mean that that is what our soul wants to do, okay? That is very much like education number one. But a lot of us are living in education number one, not even trying or even have the caliber to actually rise up into human greater potential, which is way beyond survival. It is a sense of mission. It is a sense of victory. Okay, so a lot of our relationships are just living based in that animal. We gotta eat. We gotta create security. We got to procreate for our legacy. But that legacy for that relationship is basically more of the same old low caliber. So the children low caliber, the grandchildren low caliber, and so on and so forth. Okay, and the root of that is just the dilemma, the issue, the low vibrating pattern. So the dilemma being, I don't have the resources I need, so limited thinking, and then we create these facades and pretends because we don't feel confident within ourselves to actually show up as an authentic being, because we think we have a fear or dilemma that says that won't get us what we want. So we have to fake our way, we have to hustle our way, and that's a dilemma. The issue can be, I didn't get what I needed as a child from my mother, from my father. I was completely ignored. I was basically thrown out to just work at age 12, or I was in some sort of thing happened that was very traumatic, so that becomes an issue, and then that becomes a limitation. So what our worthiness lowers, so we don't really feel worthy of certain things. And then the low vibrating patterns can just be, we watched our parents or caretakers do things just to survive, but it really just, it didn't fulfill the soul, or did things that just depleted them, and they slowly withered away into basically nothingness or shallowness. So it becomes, oh wait, another limitation. So all of these limitations are coming in, but here on the planet right now, if you're listening to this, you're most likely a part of the Aquarian breed, and the Aquarian breed, Aquarius, is very much a person who has the ability to present new new thought patterns. It presents innovation that can help us to break through the limitations so that we can create a new brainwave. Now, a new brainwave that is, we could say, higher consciousness, and that is way beyond just survival. Okay, survival is it's like a primary. Okay, like we're an animal. Survival is something we know how to do. Okay, it's not something we need to focus on, put so much energy into. Like we are just at any moment going to, we're going to lose our life or something. We put so much on survival and nothing on actually our higher potential because of the dilemma, the issue, the low vibrating pattern that keeps us in this limitation. Very tight, very tight. So Aquarian energy basically gives us a new brainwave, a higher brainwave, a higher understanding, a higher opportunity, a greater possibility for our life. Now, what can get us vibrating at that brainwave is we got to make it clear to our subconscious where we get that tight grip onto this just survival, and I can't let this thing go because I'm terrified of being uncomfortable. I'm terrified of leaving what is known to actually voyage and explore and expand myself. We just kind of linger there. So we got to get into environments that promote change, promote vitality. Because when we get into the rhythm of that, we're getting into the rhythm of facing our fear. We're getting into the rhythm of expanding our mind and thinking new thoughts. And thinking new thoughts gives us new relationships with the past, with the present, with the future. And when we have new relationships from a higher perspective, no more are we just dreading things, we're angry of things, because that anger is looking at something from a very illusionary, limited perspective, such as our parents, such as this and that. It has very much come from a state of, I wish you well, you did the best you could with what you knew and what you had, and I'm going to raise the caliber for my family tree, and that's my gift to you, and the gift to myself, as well as the gift to breaking me free. So breakthrough is basically giving yourself what you needed as a child, giving yourself what you needed in a relationship, giving yourself what you need healing for that particular trauma. It is basically taking back your power as well as taking back your sovereignty and taking back your ability, your natural inherent ability to not be a victim of life, but to be a person very much like a shaman who sees everything as an opportunity to advance their life experience from low octaves to higher octaves, and the traveling through and how to travel through like a shaman. We're advancing our life experience. And a part of that is having tests, having lessons that can get us to understand life from a different perspective. So the challenges are there to expand our consciousness. Because expanding our consciousness is through the cracking it open, is through the strength to see that illusion, to see that thing, and to know how to divinely heal it. Then we become quite masterful over the 5 elements, over life. And when we can move out of the victim of I'm just a carrier of the world's issues, dilemmas, low vibrating patterns into I am actually like a shaman or a divine healer of that, then we can rise our caliber that we've been given into a caliber that a brainwave that is something we called in from a meditation or from a Kundalini yoga or from the cosmos or from our soul or the essence of Mother Earth. We called that in. We called some idea, some original thinking, original expression. We called that in through the deciding I'm going to be the first in my family tree, the first for vibrating a new frequency. And when we can decide that wholeheartedly, it becomes very much our mission to not be a carrier of the dilemma, the issue, the low vibrating pattern of society and the family and this. It becomes our mission to be the brightest apple on our family tree. And that brightest apple is basically, we are making it pretty clear that I trust in my sacred vision in my heart. So we get into that transcendental wavelength where we feel like this timelessness. That's why meditation is important and very fundamental to basically expanding your consciousness, raising your caliber, and actually attracting what you truly want, because it clears you out, rinses you out of all of that mud, that stuff you don't need, but you carry, and then you don't really realize you gotta clear it before you can actually get to anything with substance that is for you in this life. So we get into that transcendental meditation. We call it in what it is, our original thought pattern or thought wave. We integrate it through the going out there and facing our fear, going in environments that support vitality, youth, energy, self-discovery, that promotes new ways of thinking, new ways of perceiving life, friends, gatherings, all of that, even nature. That's how we can get into that breakthrough out of the issues, where it's no longer issues is governing us. We have the leadership equality through our growing strength, through our innovation, through our new thinking, to actually look at that thing and say, I'm going to raise my caliber. And even though these people may not agree or may not kind of vibe with what I would like to vibe at, I'm going to go for it, because I know deep inside my life isn't just to survive, or a partner just to survive. And because I feel in my being, my essence, that a partnership, a companionship is very much for deep self-discovery. So we can rise out of survival into deep discovery, which is a higher octave of relationship experience with another person. Okay? So when we get out of that, we rocket out of that, we can get into the self-discovery, where it becomes you learning yourself. And learning yourself, a lot of people are not doing in relationships. Like I said, they're survival, which is, I don't need to learn myself. I just need to know how to survive. I don't need to learn my mission or what makes me unique, what makes me radiant, what makes me feel alive, energetic. I don't need to know that. I just need to have this, that, and that to survive. Okay? But that's not human. That's not what we came for as human. That's not the human design. That is just one level. It's an important level, but it's not the total what we came here to do. So the self-discovery is very much, you are activating yourself inside out. So you meditation, through Kundalini yoga, through chanting, through singing. And what that does is it brings out of you natural talents and gifts that are creative. Okay, you slowly, gradually, in your own time, have these awakenings of natural talents and gifts. Now, collectively, we are shifting gears from a more like a survival mode when it comes to life and, the exchange system, into a more creative, synergistic. So we're getting more into synergistic wealth and richness. So synergistic as in innovation, creative minds working together. We're getting more into that flow. So it's not about me and I am this, corporate thing and it's me, my thing. It's more about synergistic community coming together for a lot of it's humanitarian work and environmental work. Okay, because that's what the focus is on the planet right now, because that's what we need. That is the demand and the supply, the humanitarian, environmental, synergistic businesses and creative mind. So that's where the richness is going to come from. So we bring out through the working on ourselves. So we've moved beyond our issues, dilemma, low vibrating pattern that has us attracting the same relationship again and again, and we don't learn the lesson because our subconscious blocks us from learning the lesson. Therefore, we can't find the resources, the tools to learn the lesson. So we're just kind of stumped. We're just kind of feeling stuck. We don't know how to have breakthrough. Okay, we get out of that. Okay, and then we kind of rise up above that low caliber, rise our caliber, and then we can begin to look at ourselves. We can begin to redefine ourselves, and we can begin to basically persuade ourselves into change, and fulfilling the mission of the soul is most important. Okay, and that is the most challenging when everyone around maybe just go for so-and-so because I need, that will fit my survival thing, void, that will survive. So yes, we get into self-discovery, we get into natural talents and gifts, and these persons tend to be more artistic, they tend to be more maybe philosophical, more creative, there's more depth. There is a ability to change, ability to trust oneself. In the process of change, one has more of the ability to assert themselves with confidence. So survival, we don't really have confidence, okay, because that's not important for the survival. It's not important to have confidence because we don't need it because we're pretty good just here, the status quo, okay? But confidence is like the call to journey. I need confidence for the call to journey. The status quo mindset won't do anymore. I need confidence. I require confidence to adhere the call to journey. So then self-discovery, we start to get into confidence, we start to get into assertiveness, we start to get into facing our fears head on. It becomes an everyday journey of facing our fears head on. Because a part of the triumph, okay, the victory is facing fear head on. Okay? And when we're just in the survival, the status quo, and our subconscious just locks us tight into that's our only life, because we don't make it clear to our subconscious through changing up our routine, changing up our environments, through getting into vitality environments, radiant environments, philosophical environments, creative environments. Our subconscious just continues to think the same old thing. So when we kind of make it clear, our subconscious kind of loosens us up. When we loosen up, we input some higher vibrations such as meditation, kundalini, and we begin to find more resources for healing and for self-empowerment. Then that subconscious is like, okay, I'll go with this because I see people around me, I see expanders, I see there are people who actually did it. And when the subconscious knows, okay, there actually is a greater life for myself, then the subconscious is like, okay, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna go for this. Okay, because I see that there is more to life than just their survival. Okay, so we get into that we're on a journey. We're on a journey of self-discovery. We're learning our talents and gifts on the way. We're learning like who we are deep inside, like a soul, like an essence deep inside. And that becomes our mission. Our mission becomes something that brings energy to life rather than takes away energy and just brings us into this shallow life of numbness, of just dilemma, issue, low vibrating pattern. Because that is not the greater mission of human in any lifetime, okay? So we realize that our survival is being steady, is being security within yourself, within trusting your soul, trusting your intuition. That becomes your sense of security, because when you get to that understanding, that self-discovery, your intuition very much is like your instinctual and primal guide. It will give you what you need. It will give you the resources you need to survive, because it's service to you, okay? But not only give you what you need to the survival to survive, the survival resource. It'll give you the resource that you require to complete your mission, which is your essence or self-expression or synergistic business or synergistic co-creation that benefits the ecosystem overall, the ecosystem. Okay? So when we get into that kind of vibration, we get into a vibration of, I know who I am, I'm very confident in who I am, I'm very much moving forward, I'm on a journey, and I trust myself, even though this journey, this brainwave that I have may not be in sync with my parents, my grandparents, the environment of my old friends, or the environment of my work, or the environment of the maybe ideology, religion, culture that's all around. We are pretty secure and solid within ourselves that we are going to go for it, because it pretty much becomes clear at that caliber that we are worthy to be radiant. And that a part of that radiant is getting to the root of what we truly want in life, which is growth, personal growth, psychological growth when it comes to our brainwave, physical growth in the way like we kind of move our body. That is what we really want, particularly on this planet right now. And we also want synergistic collaboration with other people and richness and knowledge, experience, richness and wealth that has integrity and heart. So that seems like very daunting because we don't see it all around, but that's a greater mission, because when we really commit ourselves to that and we actually do it, that becomes a fulfilled possibility, and therefore becomes an opportunity for planet Earth. So it's like we're proving to the Earth that basically we are this infinite being, and what that does is it keeps the truth alive that we are these infinite beings coming in with an possibility that we can fulfill, and then it becomes an opportunity, like all these Albert Einsteins, Nikola Teslas of the world. So that is all through our caliber and the stability of that higher caliber of worth. So with worth, we don't get it right away, and therefore we just kind of drop down, or we look around and nobody's like that, so we just drop down. It's being pretty solid, pretty steady in it. Or we'll just constantly, everything will just be a challenge and then we'll just shrink. Or everything will just be a challenge and we'll become the prey instead of the hunter. And that is the challenge in actually creating a consolidated higher worth. Because a lot of people who get into that vibration of higher worth, but then they continue to drop out of it. Because circumstances around them, they see all these things, they take it in, and they allow it to like belittle them. And they allow it to discourage them. Okay? And the true student of like the yogi or the meditation of the worth, the higher worth, is being very tolerant of what's going on around you, very patient what's going around you, but also being very clear about holding that higher worth for yourself, believing. It is a state of holding that belief on a deep level. So when you have it in a deep level, those people tend to not so easily be just knocked down or broken or belittled. They tend to be very much like a leader, like many leaders we know. They faced so much of the weird environment that's very discouraging, but they are very calm because they have this deep-rooted clarity about what they're doing. And what they're doing promotes a peace, not carelessness, not numbness, not recklessness, not disconnection, apathy. No. It promotes a peace. I want everyone to have their peace, not just you, everyone. And that vibration becomes a humanitarian and environmental vibration, a synergistic co-creation with ongoings. Okay, so again, this is like a pathway. These are like steps to getting to the higher life partner, because we want that higher life partner, but a lot of people, they either get it, they self-sabotage it, or they go through all these relationships and they just keep getting the same thing and they can't break through, and or we don't believe it, so we just settle, and then we lie to ourselves that we like this person sleeping next to us, but really we don't feel much. We don't feel any vitality or any sort of, it just doesn't feel, it's just not it. Our instinct says that it's just not it, but we continue because fear tells us that we can't get what we truly want. Okay, and that's when we got to get into looking around in a deeper way, and we'll see there are people who got it, and that will show the subconscious, okay, I can get it too. It becomes a very strong belief. I don't need to settle. It's out there. It is out there. Okay, so we basically get to know ourselves. We get to know like what we want, what works, what doesn't work. We start to get more as the experimentator of life rather than the victim or the movement of life. We get into life is helping me rather than life is just kind of like, whoa. Okay, we come more in tune with our inner wisdom and our inner sense of leadership. And then our companion becomes more so a companion that supports our natural talents and gifts, that it's more like a artistic or creative teamship, where a teamship is more so about friendship, because survival is about love, because there's this great emphasis on procreation or fulfilling the family dynamics, but friendship is more so, it takes us to another notch. It is about fulfilling the family evolution. So family evolution is about fulfilling, the children's desires for their creative pursuits. It's about fulfilling the security of the family, of the foundation of it. So bringing forth new ideas, innovation, bringing forth richness in knowledge, experience, and even in wealth to keep the family moving. But you see, it's a different perspective. It's more coming from a state of confidence, doing something that gives a sense of victory. Okay, so that friendship, it doesn't become about let's just have babies. It becomes about are we mature enough? Are we mature enough to get married or to have babies? And it becomes very clear. If we're not entirely feeling very secure within what we got going on, then we need to continue to expand. We need to go out there and to conquer what it is that we want to do. Okay, companionship, it brings this synergistic radiance rather than I'm pulling you, you're leaking me, I demand this, I expect this, you're not giving me what I want. I'm upset, I'm very offended by certain things you say because I have these issues that trigger me, and I had this dilemma that my childhood, and I'm kind of scared. You need to basically not step on my toes. Don't try to reveal to me my truth or my lies. You just need to have sex with me, and you just need to help me pay the bills, and that's all I really want. Okay, that is what we have. Okay, but the higher vibration, the higher caliber is more so a I thank you. I'm very grateful for you showing me a truth about myself that I couldn't see, that I had this fear going on, or that I had this negative kind of attitude or this behavior. Thank you for showing me it, because now I can heal it. I can heal it and I can evolve that part of me, which is wonderful. And it becomes more of a relationship of we working on this, this creative project or this creative business, and we're using our unique kind of perspectives or perceptions to really create something that is very grounded, very secure, that's progressing. It's more so supporting each other's natural rhythm. So it's just a natural rhythm together, because we're both in this greater worth of wanting self-discovery, wanting victory. So we're very much supporting each other is natural rhythm. So yes, this is very much the pathway towards a higher life partner. But it is not a settle. It is really making it clear within yourself, amplifying your authentic self so clear that your complement becomes somebody that it feels very enjoyable. That's it. It's really simple. It feels enjoyable. And that doesn't mean it's every single day, but overall, inside of your heart, in your essence, and just your body and your energy field, it feels enjoyable to connect with your energy. It feels enjoyable. It just flows. Now, if it's not flowing, we lie to ourselves, but that doesn't help. That just makes it delay, or we just kind of muddy up our sense of worth. It's just enjoyable. Very, very enjoyable. It's a friendship that is conscious enough to be a rock, be stable, be solid, conscious enough to be brave, to be a leader, to be courageous, to walk with you towards the victory rather than, kind of hold you back or trip you up or just don't understand, or they're just not walking with you. It's like walking with you because you're on the same kind of brainwave, but you have your own things going on, so you're not filling voids within each other, because you already are pretty your cup is pretty full with all of your own internal things that you want to give to each other and to life. So yes, this is very much the talk for today.